There's something in the water. I feel it taking over me. It's slowly getting harder to breathe.
Bythjul.com. Däck och fälgar online direkt hem till din dörr eller närmaste verkstad.
Now this new model is something that I find straight off the bat being very, very amusing. I just love to drive this one, and I also love how it looks. I like small cars not being too high because this is an SUV. This is a bit of a crossover. It's the new Volvo EX30, and it's supposed to be a mini SUV or a mini crossover because that is so popular nowadays. And Volvo wants to get into the competition with like the Cupra Born, the Volkswagen ID.3, the Hyundai Kona, because these cars, they sell rather well. And keeping it small, well, it doesn't become that expensive, even though the price, well, we can discuss that later. But this new one, to me, it feels premium. And Volvo wants to be premium with this car, even though you can discuss some details about it not being that much premium. But to me, the overall feeling feels premium. How the system works and how it's being renewed and recycled with all its materials. So it's been recycled in many ways, this one. Not just the interior as it is in many cars, but also a lot of the components in the structures of the car. And that means that 25% of the aluminium, 17% of the steel, and also the plastics of the exterior has been recycled. And inside it's about 30% that has been recycled, so well done in there. Let's head off. And this car is so simple to just head off with. You approach it with your key in your pocket and the Thor hammer. The headlights, they light up, real beautiful. I like that one. And then you just step into the car and everything is ready to go. You just pull the gear lever, which is really nice up here. Very neat to handle. And then off you go. And off you go in a very light, nimble way. This feels like a very small, nimble car. And it just gives you so much joy rolling away slowly in it, even though it's got a lot of power. In all their shapes and forms, the electric cars, they are basically rather heavy. And of course, this is heavy for being such a small car, but it feels very light on its feet. And the steering is just so immediate. And this steering wheel, I think everyone will love this one. There is some special feeling about it. It's thin all around. You get a perfect grip as you take that 1/4 to 3 grip. So this feels a bit racy, not sporty, a bit racy. I like that. And 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 5.3 seconds. It's quick, 272 horsepower. So off you go. And off this car really goes. It is quick. And in the corners, it feels really nimble. It's almost like a little go-kart because the wheels are set so far out. And it is a joy to drive this one, together with this steering wheel and this steering that you can set in 3 different steps, into soft, and it's very soft. So there's a bit more of a delay to that, but you know, it is just like cotton, this whole car. The setting, the dampers and everything is just so smooth. And by being a small car, they can be a bit bouncy. Of course, it becomes a little bouncy when the road is a bit, you know, uneven, but it really eats the road in a very smooth way. Normal, that's the middle setting for the steering feel, becomes a little more responsive, and then you get it into sharp, and that's rather sharp. And I like that there's a lot of interesting design elements on this car. If we start with the rims, these are 19-inch. You can get 20-inch, that's the biggest one, but they have this look on them which are a bit better when it comes to drag. Plastic down here makes it look a little off-roadish. This color called cloud blue, sometimes people think that it's a white car, but in some different lighting conditions, most lighting conditions, you can see this blue light tone that really surfaces, and I like it. It's a bit, you know, towards that baby blue look, but I think it fits the car. It makes it really fresh, together with this blacked out roof and details, and also these side mirrors, which are maybe stolen a bit from the Polestar with its frameless look. So it is a bit bulky, a bit high, but not being too high. Looks really cool, feels like a little go-kart when you drive it, is that the wheels are set so far out in each corner. So the control of it is just brilliant. If we get to the front, it swoops down a little, it looks a little aggressive and muscular. The lights look good with these cubes that light up in that Thor hammer, classic way. And it's very clean in the front. No grill or something like that, you don't need it. So it's just flat and good looking. And of course the back has its own character as well. It's a bit divided there with those two tail lights. And also there are some cubes that light up in a special way. So I really like how it looks. It has some stance to it. It's got some own identity, and that's what you want. But it feels very Volvo, but a little more, to me, Polestar in some way. So I think it's a great mix because I like Volvos and I like Polestars. The one that I'm reviewing right here is the single motor extended range. So you have a little more range in this one. 476 kilometers in range from that 69 kilowatt hour battery. And it's rear wheel driven. You get 272 horsepower from this one. So it is rather quick. 0 to 100 is dealt with in 5.4 seconds. And then it moves on to a top speed of 180 kilometers an hour. And it does that very quick. So this is a lot of joy. And you can actually talk about that. Does this small car need that much power? Because it is ahead of some of its competitors when it comes to the horsepower figures. But it becomes a lot of fun with this power, of course. But if you would want some more range, maybe you should tone it down. I mean, 200 horsepower would just do the job in this car. But now we got 272, so we're happy for that. Because performance, well, it's fun. You should have fun. And maybe they want to strive for that, you know, having exclusivity, quality, and maybe they want to get to that exclusivity of knowing that this car has a little more performance than its competitors. The weaker one, rear wheel drive, that one as well. It does have the same horsepower, but not as fast, 5.7, 0 to 100. Well enough, but the range is a little less, 337 kilometers. Consumption is about the same, but then you can get the dual motor. Well, that's four-wheel drive, and you get 428 horsepower. And that does 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 3.4 seconds. So we need to try that one out later because I think that can be a real fun pill. The one thing that is a bit of a shame, because this is rear wheel drive, 272 horsepower. You can, it says ESC off, but it is not off because there is a strong leash to this one. As soon as there is a small tendency of provoking it and starting to try to slide it out, it won't let you. This is so secure. It's just bulletproof safe. But when you get into the corners here and use that power, 272 horsepower in a small car like this, wow, this is almost a bit too overpowered. So the joy is really there. This is like a roller coaster ride. So just purely based on the power and how it feels, it's worth a lot of its money. And let's check out the brakes. Powerful and good. 0 to 100 in 5.3 seconds. Now that is fast for a small car like this. You get a little slip when you've turned the ESC off. And it's quick. You look down here to see what type of speed it is, but everything is set here. So you need to, well, look to the side. That feels a little weird in the beginning, something that you learn. So it's very clean in here. Big windows, you have a good vision, and you can set this steering wheel in perfect position, both in depth and in height. So it all becomes a very pleasant and fun drive. I really think it does. You charge this one up rather quickly, 26 minutes, that is from 10% to 80% at a fast charging station because it takes 150 kilowatts. It is a small car, still we know that they weigh a lot. This one, 1,860 kilos, the dual motor one is a little over 1,900 kilos. That might sound like not that much when it comes to electric cars, but it is still a lot. But at the same time, this one, it feels very light on its foot when you're driving it. Boot space, 318 liters. Well, you can fold the rear seats, you get some more space. But there's something fun portrayed in the back trunk lid there, which shows you the diameters of the trunk space and what can fit. And in the front there is also a sketch and a portrayed moose and some trees. You know, just to make the vibe a little Swedish, a little Scandinavian. The front is only 7 liters, so that's not much to put there. You can't even put your cables down there. And you can also get a 22 kilowatt DC onboard charger if you want to charge it up a little quicker at home. So the basic single motor version costs 429,900 Swedish crowns, and there is 3 trim pack levels. And they're called Core, Plus, and this one, it's the Ultra, so you get everything here. Panoramic roof, Harman Kardon system, adjustable seats, a lot. Well, the price becomes a little closer to 600,000 Swedish crowns with that package, and that is a lot of money for many, especially if you want to get it as a family car. We need to have kids in the younger ages because the back seat is not that very big. But to me, this feels like one of the cheekiest, most fun and composed cars on the road in this segment. I find it a lot more fun than the Cupra Born and the ID3. They will come in stronger versions, GTX and VZ, of course, but they won't match that power that the all-wheel drive version will. And 272 as a step-in this one, well, it becomes so much fun. And there's no sport modes or anything like that. It's just, you know, straight off the bat what it is. And that's what I like. Let's put the steering feeling, as it's called, into soft and just cruise around for a little. We can set the one pedal drive and see how that feels. Feels like semi-strong. It's not the on the stronger side like many others that just almost breaks you down. And you can also set a bit more of the control of the speed when going downhill. But this is a very quiet, nice car. Like all EVs, they're quiet. There's not any rumble about it. It just moves about very swiftly, and it's very practical and convenient in town because it's small. Very easy to park, very easy to maneuver, to turn around, and that is something that you really appreciate when living in a big town. And it starts to warn a couple of times when you start to look down here, and everything is gathered here. So, you know, that plays against each other a bit there because you need to maneuver everything from here. And this takes a little while. I think that I've got into it now. It took a little time. It is a bit messy. You need to dig into it. And when driving, well, sure, that is not the best thing. You can preset some things here in the steering wheel, and that is good, of course. You can talk to it. It's got Google. So we're not doing any range test or something on this car. We just enjoy the ride, the sporty ride, the comfortable ride, the fun ride that this car provides. I think this is a blast. It looks good. It's a small car, and small cars have attitudes. And this car has its own attitude. It is a Volvo. It feels safe, and a bit plastic here and where, but that is nothing that really bothers me personally. It is a lot of money still for this type of car. This is the highest trim level on this one, but combined consumption is 17 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. And range in this car is 476 kilometers. So you reach quite far on one full charged battery. And at a supercharger, you top the battery up in 29 minutes. It takes 150 kilowatts. You step into an interior which is so modern, fresh, and a bit futuristic, but still holds a very great design, not being too much, not being, you know, subtle and boring. Just the opposite. And what you are greeted with is a rather light cabin in here. Sure, it's small. The seats, of course, they light up really, really nice. I think this is called Breeze. Well, they are picked up from some Scandinavian nature culture in some way. They want to really make you feel that way, and it looks that way. And they just get you into a very good position immediately. They are soft, they are nice, they have a little special feeling to them, a little rubbery in some way. It is recycled material, but I think they're just great. The backrest is very good, the headrest is very good. You change the seat with just one knob. You can push it and then it comes up here so you can see how to adjust it. And it also saves all your settings of how you set this whole system. If you want to set the mirrors, which we will talk about, and some of the other systems. And of course, the seats. But I think it feels really good just using one button. It's very logical and it's very responsive in its way. Not dealing with a lot of different buttons, even though that is not that difficult otherwise. Then you get some special look in here. This dashboard, well, it looks like a washing floor or a garage floor or something that is very withstanding of water and oil and a lot of this stuff. I think it harmonizes well together with it all, but you know, that's personal taste. Down here and here, it's like styrofoam in its look, but it has a bit harder, you know, feeling to it. But of course, these are the things that might not feel that much premium, even though it's renewed and all of that. If you want to call everything premium when it comes to renewed, well, I think you need to be a bit careful there. But to me, I think it's fresh, I think it's modern, and I like it somewhat. It feels light. The ventilation outlets, they look rather nice. It's a bit flimsy, that little knob that you pull. But what is a nice touch are the door handles as you open. I really like these ones. As they flow down here, it almost feels like a handle or opener to a old fridge from the 70s or 80s. So a bit retro. I really like how they've done with that. Otherwise, it's very airy. A lot of space down here. You can open up down here. You get some more storage, 2 USBs. A standing induction charger on the left side, not on the right side, but you can put the other phone there and then you can swap them if you want to charge them. Very open in here, and that Harman Kardon system, which is really, really powerful in this one. It's like a sound bar that is laying in front of you, but very open, and you just get everything centered to this one. Minimalistic, and everything is being cramped in here. You got some touches here on the steering wheel. We know what we think about them, but I think they work rather well. They're rather logic after a little while, but this is the most tough work you get in this car, getting into the system in the beginning. But then when you got it going, which I think I have, then it's just a breeze. So the stalks, they are nice. Yeah, of course, a little plastic. And when you use the wipers, well, you just scroll it infinitely. There is no stop to it. So you know that, okay, that's max, that's middle, and that's off or intermediate or something. But that is nothing that bothers me because you set it and you know where it is. And if you just want to push it down, well, then there's no stop at it. I like it. And the nice touch with the gear selector here, like that one. But what makes you feel very involved in the driving? Well, steering. And of course, a great steering wheel. That's the first thing you get into. When you grip the steering wheel, you feel some connection to the car. It's you and the car, and let's just get on with it. And this one, with its square shaped, I just love it. It becomes a bit more racy than sporty, and it's thin, and the feeling is just great. You get a good grip, but you can also lift your hands a bit instead of just getting on top of a very circular steering wheel and still get a very good feeling. And that is sporty, racy. So this one, it's a joy to use. And when you look through it, you can see this detector here, which reads off your eyes and your head motions. And that analyzes if you are focused on the road. But the problem here, and as it is in many other cars, when you need to look at all the systems that is in here, well, of course, it gives away some beeps. Driver alert, you can set that off if you want, and it won't interfere that much. What more do we have here? So, in this armrest here, well, you can't open this one as you do in many other cars, which is classic. You fold this one out, and you can fold them in 2 different steps. Fully extended, you can put a cup here, you can put some more stuff under here, and then you can push that one out, so you got 2 holders for your cups. That is great. The windows, they are adjusted here. Very clean, very nice, and if you want to pull the windows in the rear down, you need to push that rear button, and then you push that one. A little overworked, but it works. And then you got locking the doors. But very open, and I like the design of all of the looks in here. It is just a joy to look around. Get that little Swedish flag here. Then you get into this system. And let's dig into this a bit here. Very easy to turn the lane keeping aid off and the speedometer warning off. 1 pedal drive, which is not that very strong. And if you want to open this glove compartment, well, you push that button and you open it up here. So Not much of a glove compartment, but there is some space down there. But let's get to the most frustrating thing, which I think everyone has been talking about. When you want to change your mirrors, so left side mirror, and then you hold it here, and then you push. On this one, the touch, those haptic buttons here. But it's like you need to hold your thumb or your finger there for a little while so it senses it and then it pushes it. But you know, it's like, okay, there it starts and I need to let it go. So it's not like you can do it gradually. It accelerates rather quickly. Set it once for you and then it will be stored and saved. That's good. The system, I think it's rather intuitive. The only thing is that it's so small here that sometimes you need to lean forward. Very minimalistic. It looks very clean. It looks very elegant. It looks rather nice. When the symbols are up here of all the apps that you can have and use, it's okay. So a very likable cabin in here. I like it a lot. Just want to jump into this car and drive it because it is fun. It is soft and it is a car for big city traffic. It's so easy to park and maneuver, but at the same time, it is very quick when changing lanes, when overtaking, and when having some fun. So this is good. Let's step in here. I'm sitting behind myself back here. I can't really stuff my feet underneath the seat. I'm 175 centimeters tall for your information. I got some space here. It's very light in here due to this big panoramic roof. It is enormous in this little car. It's almost like a convertible. Well, it's okay. You don't get that much support here. It's like the backrest is pushing you forward in some way. But you know, I fit in here. You don't get that much equipment. These electrical window switches, they are placed here. And you also got 2 USB-C chargers on each side. And here's a little, a little tray with some moose portrayed and some trees, very Swedish. I don't know what that is for, but maybe to throw the trash out or something. A little pocket here to put some stuff, and that's about it. You get some ISOFIX here as well. Some lights back here, and of course these nice door handles. Then there is not that much more. So it's a small seat. If you're 180, 185, well, it becomes a little cramped back to here. So this is for a small family with kids that are rather young and that has yet not become that tall. The environment is cozy. And just looking at the seats in front of you, they look beautiful. I like them. They do good seats, Volvo. They really, really do. So for the small family, because you need to have small kids, it's not big back there. 2 adults in the front here in those great seats. You know, you will just enjoy this environment in here, and having it in town, so easy to drive because the steering and everything about it feels just so light. And that is some sort of liberating feel when it comes to electric cars, because they often feel, you know, like a big lump with their weight. But this one, on its tiptoes, I like it a lot.